Hey, good evening, everyone. The Piscataway Planning Board meeting will please come to order. Adequate notice of the meeting was provided in the following ways. Notice published in the Courier News, notice posted in the bulletin board of the municipal building, notice made available to the township clerk, notice sent to the Courier News and the Star Ledger. Ms. Buckley, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Waller,
Present.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Here.
Ms. Corcoran,
Here.
Ms. Saunders,
Here.
Reverend Kenny,
Present.
Mr. Atkins,
Here.
Mr. Foster, Mr. Ahmed,
Here.
Mr. Echeverria,
Here.
and Madam Chair.
Here. Mr. Barlow, would you please read the open public meeting notice? Did we freeze? Mr. Barlow, you're
Yep, I
okay,
muted
there you
myself unnecessarily. I just want to place on the record, in keeping with the guidelines that have been disseminated by the Department of Community Affairs, the Planning Board has tried its best to comply with the Open Public Meetings Act and the DCA guidelines. In addition, any applicant whose matters might be heard this evening had the login information for the online meeting platform put forth in their notice. Members of the public who wish to be heard will be afforded an opportunity as if they were in the actual physical space. I believe the board has done its absolute best to comply with the DCA guidelines and the Open Public Meetings Act.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can see the flag in the upper corner over my right shoulder. Can we please recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mhm. Can we swear in the professionals for the evening, please?
Can you please raise your, excuse me?
I was going to say, I believe it's just Mr. Clarkin.
Okay. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Do we have any changes or alterations to our agenda tonight, Mr. Barlow?
Madam Chairwoman, with regards to the agenda of August 11th, 2026, which has 13 numbered items, there are no changes to that agenda.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to pay the duly audited bills?
Madam Chairman, Carol Saunders, I make a motion to pay the duly audited bills.
Can I have a second, please?
Reverend Kenny, I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Laura, you're muted.
My turn.
Yep.
I was like, why isn't he answering? Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
Mr. Echeverria,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Item number 8, Ms. Saunders, I believe there's a resolution to be adopted.
Okay. Madam Chairman, Carol Saunders, I'd like to adopt a resolution to memorialize action taken on the July 8th, 2026 meeting for application 26 PB-08/09B for Stewart Steel Protection LLC preliminary and final site plan with bulk variances.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Madam Chair, Reverend Kenny, I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
Mr. Echeverria,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Item number 9, again, Ms. Saunders.
Madam Chair, I'd like to adopt the minutes from the regular meeting of July 8th, 2026.
Do we have a second? Do we have a
Second,
Thank you.
Councilwoman Cahill.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
Mr. Echeverria,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Item number 10, we have a discussion on the redevelopment plan for block 6201, lot 4.02, known as 30 Knightsbridge Road.
Yes, good evening, members of the board. I'm going to share my screen. James Clarkin of Foresight Planning. I'm the one who put this redevelopment plan together. It should be sharing now. Yep. Okay. So this is 30 Knightsbridge, block 6201, lot 4.02. I'm going to start with a little background on the process. So actually, a year ago, I put together the area in need of redevelopment study, which was then adopted by resolution later that year in October of 2025 that officially designated this property as in need of redevelopment. And as you all know, the next step is to put together the redevelopment plan. I'm going to skip to the end of my report to show you all an aerial to kind of orient ourselves and remind us a little bit of what we're looking at here. So this is a rather large property, 45 acres in total, and what it holds currently, or not holds, what is there currently is an office complex, 4 buildings, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I did the study, we definitely found significant vacancies, which was one of the main reasons why we decided it was in need of redevelopment. Overall, the 4 buildings encompass about 685,000 square feet. And in total, I think it's 2,100 parking spaces. So lots of land. You have Knightsbridge Road to the north and then Route 18 to your east. So that kind of gives us an orientation of the property that we're looking at tonight for the redevelopment plan. With that, I'm just going to transition to the plan overview. So when I wrote this redevelopment plan after discussing with all the stakeholders, we decided that a logistics use was the most appropriate. So really what we're looking at is warehouses as the only permitted use within the redevelopment area. I do want to note that at the bottom of this paragraph that we definitely made it expressly prohibited to include any data center use or artificial intelligence as a principal use. So that is something that is expressly prohibited. So we're really just looking at warehouses as the only thing that this redevelopment plan is allowing. Moving on to the goals and objectives. A lot of these are pretty similar to the redevelopment plans I've done for you all before. One of the key ones is reversing the observed conditions that we found when I did the study, and then leveraging public and private assets to improve those economic and physical conditions compared to what's there today. And one of the ways we can do that is develop financial incentives for tax abatement to help redevelop the area. And then when putting together the land use plan, the goal was to provide Piscataway with modern warehouse facilities. And if we continue on the same page of the land use plan, as I just stated, only one principal permitted use, warehouses, very straightforward. And then after that are the permitted accessory uses. So we are allowing some offices within the warehouse buildings, obviously off-street parking, truck bays, electric charging stations, anything typical with a warehouse use. And then prohibited is any use not expressly permitted herein is prohibited. Storage and warehousing of anything dangerous, flammable, or hazardous is also prohibited. As I mentioned, data centers and AI as a principal use is a prohibited use, and then absolutely no outdoor storage, as we want everything kept inside and clean. If you continue on to the next page, you'll see a nice redevelopment area bulk requirements table. This is really just showing what any redeveloper will have to follow for the bulk standard requirements. This provides ample lot area, 40 acres. As I mentioned, the lot size is 45, so that should be plenty. We have appropriate setbacks from the roads because you have Knightsbridge to the north, but then you also have Erickson Drive, which is a private road. And then we're including also some rear and side yard setbacks. The maximum height is 55 feet, which is pretty typical for the warehouse redevelopment plans we've done before. We want to make sure there's adequate distance between buildings of 150 feet, some distance between driveways and front property lines of 5 feet. And then due to the layout of the property, how it has almost 2 frontages on 2 streets, we will have to allow some parking spaces within the front yard setback, but we wanted to cap that at 50 spaces. So those are the key bulk standards for this redevelopment area. Next, I wanted to touch on the next page, which is circulation. So traffic analysis and design, which is, my computer will scroll at the bottom of page 5 of my report. So for the warehouse, pretty typical. We're looking at 1 space per 2,000 square feet of gross floor area. And then, as I mentioned, an accessory use can be the office. But since it won't be a primary, we're capping it at 1 space per 200 square feet, as we don't anticipate a lot of office space, as the bulk of any warehouse should be for logistics use. I do want to note we will require a 5-foot wide pedestrian sidewalk along Knightsbridge Road, as we always want to make sure there's good pedestrian circulation. Then my plan touches on the typical topics of utilities. We do want them to provide fiber on Knightsbridge Road. I touched on solid waste disposal, which is pretty standard for these redevelopment plans. Signage, they can have a freestanding sign or freestanding monument sign, and making sure they comply with the size requirements so that they're not too large. We want to make sure it's adequately given adequate lighting, but also making sure that there's no illumination at the property lines that would cause any issues. One major point I do want to point out is the landscaping, as this was definitely of concern. If you saw in the aerial, there are some residences to the west of the property. So we are requiring a 7-foot tall and 50-foot wide landscaping berm that will be constructed as a buffer to those residential properties. We are requiring on top of that trees, plants, and foliage to be planted on top of the berm so that they grow and provide additional buffering. We also are requiring them to irrigate the landscaping and berm properly so that no runoff flows off of it into adjacent properties. And then B is really about providing enough trees in the off-street parking areas, and then making sure that most of the species are native to avoid increased irrigation needs and die-off. So that's definitely a key part of the redevelopment plan, to make sure there's some adequate buffering between any existing uses. Continuing on the report is additional design standards. This really touches on fencing, rooftop mounted equipment, things of that nature. We want to make sure all easements are vacated to effectuate the new redevelopment. In terms of environmental, when I did the study, I don't think there were any hits of or any environmental concerns, I should say. But if there are, that would be on the redeveloper to work with any NJDEP requirements if they get to site plan approval. And then for plan consistency, this is consistent with your master plan. There's no neighboring municipalities that we have to be concerned with. And those are the major things I did want to touch on. However, something did come across my desk. We want to add 2 provisions into the redevelopment plan to make sure we're covering certain things that we missed. So the first one that I'll be adding is a financial subdivision to facilitate the financing of the project may be granted by the planning board upon proper application. So there may be a financial subdivision that will be proposed, and then the planning board could act upon that. So I'll put that provision in here. And then the second one is regarding the truck bays. We want to make sure that they're not operated between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. to minimize noise reaching the residential neighborhood. So I will provide Dawn and Mr. Barlow an updated copy of this redevelopment plan with those 2 provisions to make sure that they are included in the final version. And I think that's really everything I wanted to touch on tonight. As I said, it's pretty straightforward, only 1 permitted use. Our typical bulk standards will be appropriate for this. And yeah, I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, could you pull that down?
Yep.
Fine. Members of the
Madam
members of the
Chair,
board? Yeah.
Madam Chair, Councilwoman Cahill. Mr. Clarkin, if you could you just explain in layman's terms the financial subdivision?
So I believe there may be multiple structures. So it may just be, remember I talked about the minimum distance between buildings. So I think the financial subdivision is really with respect to financing of the structure, as they may have separate tenants. Although I have to say I'm not an expert on financial subdivisions, but I believe that is the intent and purpose of adding that provision.
You're absolutely correct, Mr. Clarkin.
Thank you.
That's what it's for.
Any other questions for Mr. Clarkin?
I have one minor one. I just want to make sure whatever color scheme that the building is, I mean, we'll have another bite at the apple on this, the board, but I want to make sure whatever color scheme or the exterior, the look of the building is conducive for the area.
Okay.
Yes, definitely add that. Otherwise, I will be not nice at the next meeting in front of the applicant.
Yeah, I could definitely add a provision that color scheme and exterior of the building will have to be approved.
Well, let's just put it this way. The board should have input on it.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
I can add that.
Okay, then we'll open it up to the public. Members of the public, if you have any questions of Mr. Clarkin on his discussion of this proposed warehouse, would you please indicate by waving your hand or letting us know you have a question?
Anyone from public, you can raise your hand. If you're on the phone, *6. No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Close to the public. If you have no more questions, what is your pleasure, members of the board?
This is Carol Saunders. I do have one last question. Why is the only designation for a warehouse for this property? Because isn't Erickson above this with the development of the homes and stuff?
Yes, I think we considered a number of land uses. Even data centers was thrown out, but we definitely wanted to expressly prohibit that given all the concerns around that type of use. I don't think we felt that residential was really appropriate in this area. And offices obviously are in decline. So
Right.
yeah, I think it's just after we looked at them all, we felt that warehouses was the best fit.
Madam Chair, Mr. Clarkin, you should explain why not just that residential use was not a good fit for this area. It is in sort of an office park industrial area. Is that not correct?
Yes, exactly. Like the underlying zoning is LI5, which is light industrial. So you're surrounded by office parks and other office buildings. So that's really the reason that it's not a good fit for residential specifically.
And this also allows the township to make sure that a data center or some type of AI does not come in, because that could be allowed under the current LI5. So
Yeah, Mr. Barlow is correct. They actually could, under normal zoning, request that.
That was one of my favorite work locations.
Madam Chair, Reverend Kenny, one question. In our master plan, that would that prevent them from anything happening like that to come in and have that type of AI type of office building come in? That would prevent it if we had that in our master plan. Is that correct?
Well, Mr. Barlow, data centers are a permitted use in our town because folks have to remember,
Right.
we're predominantly a telecommunications town, and we've been a telecommunications town since the 1960s. That is our backbone of our economy in this town.
Right.
yeah. So if the board did nothing, someone could put in a data center. And I think right now, what's being shown is there's such a burden on electrical, just the infrastructure. So, and there's issues surrounding them going forward. So this will not allow that to happen.
Right. That's what I thought. Thank you very much.
If I could just toss out one more question. I saw that you had 70% native plants were going to be used for any type of, landscaping or things like that.
Mhm.
How was it landed at 70 as opposed to maybe a little bit more for 80, just knowing that as development goes on, native plants become more of a critical, resource in our community?
First speaking was Mr. Echeverria. I just want the record.
Yep, got it. Yeah.
Sorry.
I feel like in the last 2 or 3 redevelopment plans, I've been working with sorry, I'm blanking on his name. Jonathan
Mizrahi.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Dawn. Yes, and he provided the 70%. If we're looking to raise it for this or future ones, we can certainly pick his brain on maybe why 70 is better versus 80, but we could consider it for sure.
Something I'd like to explore in the future, but maybe not in this case. Just want to flag it for now.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay, good discussion. Would someone like to entertain a motion?
Madam
Move it.
Chair, Councilwoman Cahill, I'll make the motion.
Well, I'll second it.
The motion being, would you articulate the motion, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry. That we accept the redevelopment plan, once Mr., well, I guess we accept it tonight, but provided that Mr. Clarkin includes with it the 2 additional provisions, which are language for financial subdivision, and also that in this location, any bays where trucks may come in and out of, or any trucks, whether it's bay or not, are limited to the hours outside of 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. being excluded. So that's the offer.
And I believe Councilwoman Cahill, it's also about the color scheme.
Oh,
Yep.
I apologize. Yeah, we agreed upon that tonight. Also that the township gets a say to discuss on the color scheme of the building.
And again, you're recommending to the council to adopt it. So
I'm recommending to the council to adopt it. Yes, thank you.
I still second Councilwoman Cahill's motion.
Excellent.
perfect.
Okay, fine. Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
Mr. Echeverria,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Thank you very much. Now on to our second discussion, which is item number 11 on our agenda tonight, is regarding retained foresight planning to do a redevelopment plan for block 1901, lot 64.01, also known as 44 Stelton Road on the Piscataway Township tax map. Mr. Clarkin, are you also doing that?
This is just to retain him in order to do the plan on this particular property. So
Okay.
if it's the board's pleasure, we need to hire Mr. Clarkin so he can come back at another meeting and give us the plan for 44 Stelton Road.
Board members, would you make a motion to retain Mr. Clarkin for such purposes as stated?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Reverend Kenny.
Roll call, please.
Everybody yelled. Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
Mr. Echeverria,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes.
And Ms. Smith, I just real quick, I prepared resolutions in anticipation of the board's action that Ms. Saunders has.
Ms.
so that
Saunders?
we can send that back to the council on
Do you have-
39th Bridge.
Do you have that resolution, Ms. Saunders?
Yes. Give me 1 second. Let me open it up
Okay.
and read it. Okay. Okay. Madam Chairman, I'd like to memorialize the resolution recommending the adoption of the redevelopment plan at 39th Bridge Road, Piscataway Township.
Do I have a second, please?
Reverend Kenny, I'll second it.
Roll call.
I got you, Alex. Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
Mr. Echeverria,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Barlow, need I recuse myself?
Tom, do we have a resolution for foresight?
Yes, we also have a
Oh, okay.
resolution to retain foresight, and then you can recuse yourself.
My work's not done yet. Okay.
No, one more.
Let me just open
Ms.
it
Saunders?
up. Okay,
do you
give
have
me 1 second.
Mhm.
Okay, there it goes. Madam Chair, I'd like to memorialize the resolution for the retention Afford Site Planning LLC to prepare a redevelopment plan for Block 1901, Lot 6401.
Do I have a second?
Mr. Atkins, second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
Mr. Echeverria,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Everyone, just reminders, I'll see you on the 26th at the site plan meeting.
Okay, go get some water.
Some water.
Yes.
Thank you, Brenda.
Have a
Okay,
good
Bye,
bye-bye.
Miss Smith.
Mhm.
Take
All
care.
right, bye. Okay, I guess that's me, number 12.
Yes, sir.
All right. A courtesy review Board of Education, Piscataway High School, 100 Benner Road, Block 6003, Lot 10-10.01, rooftop solar.
And board members, as we've done in the past, pursuant to statute and the municipal land use law, when the Board of Ed or any public entity is going to expend public funds, there's a process where they just come before the planning board and explain what they plan on doing. So I believe, I don't know who's taking the lead on this, Mr. Musser or Mr. Braxton or someone else.
Mr. Braxton, representative from Talva Energy, the designer of the solar, is going to take the lead on this one.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you. Thank you, board, for bringing us this here tonight. I'm going to share my screen so we can show you exactly what we plan to do.
Don't see anything yet.
He's getting there, Reverend.
All right. Can everyone see my screen now?
It's not sharing.
Nothing
Oh,
there
now
now.
it is.
There we
Now
go.
you're clear.
Okay. So we plan to put a rooftop solar system on the high school as previously done before. The system is approximately 1,221.40 kilowatts DC. That will equate to 1,970 modules. They will be installed on the roof in a ballasted fashion, meaning they will be installed with block to hold them down. And like I said, as before, that's what we are choosing to do. We are connecting to the existing service via a load side tap, meaning that we will be able to interconnect to the existing service without any upgrades or anything to that nature. I will show you the estimated site plan on what this will look like. This will encompass multiple rooftops to afford the solar the size and positioning that we need. As you can see, we're going to utilize most of the existing space currently up there. We are including a 6-foot perimeter setback for any fireways for pathways that they will require for every rooftop. As you know, I'll zoom in here so you can see the hatched area around here exemplifies the 6-foot pathway. We also included a 4-foot minimum pathway interior for the fire path as well. That's located on every roof section that requires it for an array that is longer than 150 feet in any direction. And this is the array layout that we will utilize for the roof sections. I also want to show you the zoning plan that we have, and we do not intend on being outside the boundary of any rooftop. So the existing setbacks that exist for the building will stay intact. They will not be disturbed. As you can see from our zoning plan, as this is taken directly from your zoning map. And then we will not impede on any of these setbacks there. And again, we will interconnect to the existing gear via a low side tap on the this is a representation of the existing gear. We will connect to the existing gear via a localized shutdown where the power to the building will be turned off. We will therefore interconnect at these said positions, and then the power of the building will be turned back on. That will be accomplished in a shutdown, approximately 4 to 6 hours. It can be done at night and on the weekends, not to disturb standard business of the school. And again, this is a representation of the equipment that will be installed on the roof as previously before. On each section of the roof that will be installed, these are representative of the inverters will be placed on feet, and they will not disturb the roof in any such fashion. And that pretty much tells the story of what we plan to do at the high school.
Mr. Braxton, is there a time frame?
The time frame we are looking at, we are looking to be complete with the installation, trying to be complete by the fall. Looking at September, October-ish. Once permits have been approved, we will be able to provide a more detailed schedule for that.
Thank you.
Madam, Mr. Chair, I just want to ask a quick question. Are these being replacement panels?
Yes, the old system has since been removed.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think the life expectancy on a lot of these is less than 20 years.
Yes, so the panels that were removed, you were coming to the end of the cycle for SREX and the cycle for the modules as well. So those systems have been removed and a new system is being put on.
Is PSC&G giving the district any credits, or?
Yes,
your
SREC credits will eventually, the clock will start over for you. So you will gain another 15 years of new credits that you will receive from the utility.
Well, it's too bad that the credits, because they could have taken advantage of the federal tax credits. I mean, that program doesn't exist anymore since the president cut it away. We were fortunate enough.
Well, the project has been grandfathered in by the parameters of the system. Since it was 5% of the project was purchased and financed for the system, as long as the system is installed by the end of December 2027, you will receive that federal tax credit.
Yeah.
Just one question, Renee. When is this project going to start with the school system?
The project is we're planning to start as soon as permits are released. So at the earliest, towards the next couple of weeks in August, probably beginning of September.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may just ask, Mr. Braxton, thank you. Project looks great. Were you the previous installer of the other system, or you are new?
No, we are new. We were not the previous installer.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Was there anything else?
Any other members of the board have any questions or
Any
comments?
questions?
Yeah, I have a question. When will the work be done as far as during school hours? It seems like it's going to be running over into the school year.
Yes. So the work the work we plan to be doing probably within the next couple months to be finished. Outside of particular hours for the school, we'll try to stay within the confines of early morning hours to as early a week as we can to finish the work for any given day. And then if necessary, there will be additional work done on weekends to facilitate construction getting complete in a faster manner.
Okay.
I just have, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, I just have one more question. What's the total financial outlay that the district has to do?
The financial piece, I can, we mean the total output that they had to put out?
No, I'm talking about the financial money that they have to outlay. I'm not talking about the credits that they're getting back. I mean, there's obviously a cost involved.
Yes, I can get you that information. I can get that information to the board in an expedient manner. As is, I would have to go and get that information for you. But
Yeah, there would have had to been an analysis number run in
yes,
order to make this feasible.
yes, absolutely. There's a contract number. There's a number that we presented. I can get you that information as soon as possible, and I can forward that over to you. So
Sure, if you could forward to the clerk to the board.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any other questions on the board? You're not
Just unshare your screen, Mr. Braxton.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
open it up to public, Reverend.
Okay. Is there any public questions that anyone out for the public?
You can just raise your hand. No one, Reverend Kenny.
Thank you. Is there some more questions? It's time for the number 13 for adjournment.
Thank you,
Does
Mr.
the,
Braxton.
applicant
Right.
have any other witness or anything that they want to give to
Is
the
that
board?
all, Mr. Musser? Or
I just had a follow-up question too. As
Okay.
the review has been presented to the board, does this satisfy the condition for the zoning requirements that we submitted for?
Yes, and Ms. Corcoran's on the meeting. The capital review has been complied with, correct, Dawn?
Yes, you can resubmit your zoning permit tomorrow. I know that the whole permit has been filed with the building department, but you only have to resubmit zoning.
Okay.
Fantastic. That my crew will be up there to resubmit the plans tomorrow. Then I did have one other further question. There is plans to install solar at the middle school, Quibbletown Middle School as well, and I was just checking to see if that would require an additional zoning board hearing as well.
It does require a capital
Yes.
review by the planning board.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Same kind of situation.
Yeah, don't submit your zoning permit. Just send us the request to be placed on the agenda. We'll get you right on.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Sure.
And when is the next meeting for that? So we just know when to plan for that.
September 9th.
September 9th? Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
So try to have it in at least week 10 days prior to, so I can send it out.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Okay, is there any more questions?
You guys are good, Mr. Braxton, Mr. Musser?
We are good.
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for
All
your
right,
time.
have a good evening,
All
gentlemen.
right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Motion for adjournment?
Motion, Councilwoman Cahill?
Second?
Second, Phil Echeverria.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, board members. Next workshop meeting is August 26th, 2026, 2:30.
All right. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest
Good
of
night,
your
everyone.
Enjoy the rest of
Good
your
night.
summer, everyone. Be safe.
Good
Good night,
night.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Tom.
Bye-bye.